That was really enthusiastic for a Monday morning. Hi, I want to talk to you today. I'm really bored at the moment. I've finished university and I'm applying for jobs, and so far no one wants to hire me. So I have a lot of free time. So I decided I'm going to use it to make videos. Today I wanted to talk about films. Very specific films, not just any films. I wanted to talk about films that I used to like when I was a kid, and maybe other people liked too, and maybe they've forgotten about them, or maybe they didn't even hear about them in the first place. I just want to talk about those films for a minute. The first film the first films I want to talk about are the Barbie movies. So I swear, like, these were amazing. I wasn't the biggest Barbie fan when I was a kid. I liked Bratz dolls. I had about 50, maybe more than that, Bratz dolls. I had the house, I had a car, I had like 3 different cars. I really liked Bratz dolls. So I wasn't the biggest Barbie fan, but these films were incredible. Like, there's a whole bunch of them. They started in like 2004 and then they just kept going. They might still be going now, I don't know. I've obviously lost touch with them. Some of the earlier ones are based on like fairy tales or like stories and stuff. Like my favourites are The Nutcracker, Rapunzel and The Princess and the Pauper. But like they always had the swing and they always had these big like moral messages. Like most of them started with Barbie being like, you can do this, here's why. But like they were really fun. I can't decide which was my favourite out of those 3. I really liked The Princess and the Pauper. The only Barbie doll I think I ever got was a doll from that film. It was like one of the pauper of the princesses. They have really good songs in it. There's loads of famous people in it too. Like Martin Short was in one of them. Like Martin freaking Short. Like, the songs are fun, always fun stories. I don't know, man. I just really liked them. I went to Chester the other day and went in like a DVD shop and they had like a whole shelf of just Barbie films. It was so hard not to buy them. But I've been watching them on YouTube. That's literally all I've been doing for the past 2 days, is watching the films on this list. I've watched 4 Barbie ones thus far. I've got about 4 left on my list that I really want to watch. I'll probably end up watching them all because Band's in it. The next film I want to talk to you about is The Scarecrow. Now, probably no one will have heard of this one. Like, even my own family, who I watched the film with, have very big difficulties remembering this film. It's a scarecrow, and he has a magic feather, and when he puts the feather in his hat, it makes him look like a guy. And he's trying to get with this girl in the village called Polly. So obviously, I was gonna love it, because Polly's my name. Anything with my name, I'm like, yes! Yeah, so he tried to get the girl with the village, has the thing to make him look like a guy, but then there's this other guy in the village who's like Gaston, and he wants to get with Polly, and he's not very nice, blah 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 blah. It sounds really weird, but I actually really liked it. Like, there's quite a lot of banter in it for like a 2000s kids film, and there's a really, really angry mouse voiced by Corey Feldman. And that makes me happy. Like, that just makes me laugh a lot. And I don't really know, like, I have no strong feelings either way towards Corey Feldman. But it just makes me laugh that he voices this mouse that's really angry and from New York. Even though I don't even know where it's supposed to be set, but not New York. I watched it the other day. And it was just fun. There's a lot of really well choreographed dancing in there. I realised the other day that animated films that include dancing have to be choreographed. Like, I don't know why that only dawned on me the other day, but someone has to sit down and plan out those dance routines. And the dance routines in The Scarecrow are, like, really cool. Next, The Pebble and the Penguin. This was, like, one of those films in my childhood that I had, like, a really prominent place. Like, I can't say like I watched it a lot or like it was like my favourite film, but it's one that had a very, very prominent presence in my childhood. It's by the Don Bluth Studios, I think that's how you say it. Don Bluth, whatever, however you pronounce it. Probably my favourite animation studio. I never count Disney in my favourite things because Disney is a given. I love Disney. Like, That's not gonna change. But Don Bluth, Don Bluth, Don Bluth, just, beautiful. I wish they did more films. They only did like a handful, and they were just beautiful. The animation was beautiful. The stories were fantastic. This one, The Pebble and the Penguin, it's about like this bumbling penguin called Hubie who falls in love with like, she's like the popular penguin, I guess, but like she's really nice. She's not mean. She's like the lovely, nice penguin. But everyone makes fun with him, and he has this little stutter. So he like makes a wish on a star, and the star sends him like an emerald, and he gives the emerald to, oh, what was her name? Like Marina, as like their mating ritual thing, because all the penguins give like an engagement ring, I guess, to make it simpler. And like, it's really sweet. And she's like, yeah, sure, whatever. Like, I love you. You're great. But then he gets chased off by a leopard seal and ends up like miles and miles away on like this tropical island. He teams up with this other penguin called Rocco, who wants to fly. He tries to fly. I think he does at the end, spoiler. But then they get back, but like all the while they're trying to get back to Marina, there's this other really dickish penguin called Drake, and he wants to get with Marina, but he's not very nice. Tim freaking Curry is the bad guy in it, like, yeah, it's good. It makes me happy. Like, it makes me really happy. It's one of those films that if I'm sad, I can just watch and it'll make me happy. Like, I love it. The Lion of Oz. The Lion of Oz has to be one of my favourite, if not my favourite, Wizard of Oz, like, prequel, sequel, spin-offs, whatever you want to call them. Like, it's really good. It's about the Cowardly Lion, as you can tell, and he arrives at Oz in a circus, and he had a friend called Oscar who ran the hot air balloon rides, and he took him on a hot air balloon ride. But then they got like stuck into a storm, blah, 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 and so they landed in Oz. But it's just Lion, like they don't know where Oscar goes. So the whole story is about Lion like trying to find his friend because he thinks he's been kidnapped. Basically, the evil witch person, I think it's the Wicked Witch of the East, tells him that she's kidnapped him, and they have to try and go and find this thing called the Flower of Oz. And then he picks up like a load of like people on the way, and it's just a whirlwind of fun. There is a terrifying monster in it. I think it's called Gloom, and he's basically a living mist of misery, and he gave me nightmares. Like, he was really scary. But it's got loads of like really weird characters in it, like a teddy on a spring, and loads of like little dolls and a toy soldier, and like it's very typical Wizard of Oz kids film, if that makes sense. The story ends though with the lion meeting Dorothy and still going on to try and find his friend Oscar. Like, they don't find him at the end. Who Oscar is pretty much the Wizard of Oz. Like, Oscar, hot air balloon. Like, they don't explicitly say it, but it's implied. And I would really love a sequel to this, because I'd love to know how that changes the canon of Wizard of Oz. Because like, if the Cowardly Lion recognises the wizard, that'd just be really interesting to me, and I'd like to see them explore. They never would, but it was like 15 years ago. But it'll be really cool. Maybe I'll write my own, because it would change the canon if the lion knows the Wizard of Oz. It would. Or maybe he doesn't know the Wizard of Oz. Maybe Oscar isn't the Wizard of Oz. Maybe it's a red herring. Who knows? Okay, next one. Oh my god, this is probably my favourite. Magic Sword, Quest for Camelot. I feel like this one is well known too. But, oh my god, it's amazing. I watched that yesterday or the day before as well. It's so good. It's a really fun interpretation of Arthurian legend. I think I like it so much because it doesn't really focus on Arthurian legend. Like, it's set after Arthur is king. Like, there's no preamble with the sword and the stone or whatever. Like, it's just Arthur is king. I think that's why I like it so much, because the main focus, while the plot is driven by, like, Arthur, and the whole point is that they try and go find Excalibur and blah, 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 it's not about Arthur. And I like that, and I like that a lot. He's crucial to the plot, but he is not the plot, which I like. It's got a really strong female character. Basically, like, there's an evil guy who was a Knight of the Round Table, but was evil, so he's not anymore. And he kidnaps Kayleigh's mum, and Kaylee manages to escape, and she heads into this, I think it's called the Forbidden Forest or the Magic Forest or something, and she tries to find Excalibur, which is missing. She meets a blind guy in the forest, and he's like a badass. I really like him. He's a really cool character. He has a really good song as well. Like, I love his song. It's, but yeah, then there's like a two-headed dragon for some comic relief. And there's actually some good action-y stuff, and it's a fun film. Oh my god, and I think the best thing about it is the ending. Well, not the best thing about it, but one of the things I like about it is, spoiler alert, it ends, everything's happy, they save the day, yay, and then it ends, and you think that Kaylee and Garrett the blind guy, you think it's their wedding because she's all in a white dress and very pretty, she's got things, and then he's standing at the front, and but it's not, they're both getting knighted, and I really like that. And then the very last shot is them riding off a horse with just knighted on the back, and I think that's really funny. Gary Oldman plays the villain, Pierce Brosnan is King Arthur, Eric Idle is one of the dragon heads as well. Some really good songs, and it's such a good film. Like, I really enjoy it. I really enjoy it. Cats Don't Dance! This is another one I don't think anyone will have heard of, but it's really good. The main character in this is like a plucky cat who's like going to Hollywood from a small town trying to make it, and it's really endearing as someone who like does acting and stuff like that. And like, I feel you, cat, I feel you. Like, he goes to Hollywood, but Hollywood is like full of prejudices basically, where animals can't sing, dance or act or anything like that. They play the animals. It's a world where animals are anthropomorphic but humans still exist, if that makes sense. The villain is this psychotic, like, child star. I think she's modelled after Shirley Temple or something like that. But she's, like, terrifying. Actually terrifying. And she's got this, like, servant guy who's, like, 20 feet tall and, like, really wide. And also very, very terrifying. She, like, hates animals and has this vendetta against the main character cat. Like, sabotages the animal's chance of stardom, and it does the whole big life lesson thing. And oh my god, there's this really cute penguin in it called Pudge, and he's adorable. And the song that the little girl sings, I don't know whether her singing voice, the character singing voice actor person, was a kid when they sang it, but like, it's amazing. Amazing. Who's in this film? Oh my god, it's Scott Bakula. Oh, I have the weirdest crush on him since I watched Quantum Leap. Like, the weirdest crush. I love him. Oh, I did not know he was in this film. Oh my god. This is intriguing. That's it. That's kind of all I wanted to talk about. I realise it's probably quite boring, just listening to someone talk about films that they liked when they were a kid. This isn't even all the films I liked when I was a kid. This is a very, very, very small selection. Maybe I'll do another one of these. Probably won't though, because it's probably boring. People should watch these films though. Like, I get, oh, I'm 21, I should be watching kids' films. I'm like, so? Films are films. Like, I don't see the problem. These are all like really short. They're like 80 minutes long. You can find them all on YouTube of varying qualities. Or like, you can get DVDs of them for like £3 if you're a DVD person. And they're just like, they're really fun. And I think people should watch them and not care about being a grown-up. I don't care about being a grown-up. I am a grown-up. I still watch kids' films. I've literally spent the last weekend watching kids' films. Nostalgia can be lethal, but like, these were just really nice to watch and like remember. And it would be really funny because I'd remember such strange things from them. Like, I wouldn't, for example, Barbie Princess and the Pauper. I was Princess and the Pauper, whatever it's called. I was watching that one, and I couldn't remember the plot. I just remembered that there was Princess and the Pauper, and then they swap places, like, or whatever. That's all I could remember. But then, like, what I could remember was one line from a song. So there's a guy who's, like, teaching the Pauper girl how to be a princess, so she fools everyone. And, like, it's all a big song, and there's one line in the song where he goes, "Learn to play the harpsichord." And that's stuck in my brain, and I don't know why. I could not remember anything else about the damn film. Couldn't even remember the characters' names. Learn to play the harpsichord! Stuck in my brain. It's so strange. But, like, it's really nice to watch them again, because it's like, they're so familiar, and it's like, it's like coming home after a long day. Like, they're so familiar and I remember so much about them. But then also they're still a surprise. Like, the endings are still a surprise. What happens is still a surprise because they've just out of my head. So it's been really nice to watch them. It's just been really nice. Like, I've been having a rough time lately about the whole growing older thing, so it is nice a little to retreat back into my childhood, even if it's just for an hour and a half, and just watch these films that I used to like and remember liking and remembering what I thought about them and all the different things. It's nice. Yeah. Watch the films. I'll write them all in the thingy bobbin. I think they're cool. I hope that this has been fun. If you've watched the end, go you. I don't think anyone will. But if you have, you're my favourite.